face appeared on the bedsheet. The little girl walked up slowly and lifted it up but found nothing. A burst of laughter came. The face appeared on the bedsheet next to her. She lifted it up but it was still empty. At this moment, a white bedsheet reflected a human figure. The girl pretended to be calm and walked up to lift it up. It turned out to be her naughty sister, but things were not as simple as she thought. The sister and she started playing hide and seek. During the game, she was frightened by a figure. Suddenly, the figure appeared. Like a vicious dog, he pounced on her. While running away, the girl was accidentally covered by the bedsheet. The bedsheet stuck to her tightly. The next second, the old man appeared in front of her. She was so scared that she struggled desperately. The younger sister saw her embarrassed look and laughed. She asked her sister if she saw an old man. The younger sister said that he went that way. They looked that way and saw only black footprints and a tombstone. Watch the video and be sure to like and follow it. Let the dog head in the comment area protect you. It turns out that not long ago, the mother of the sisters committed suicide by cutting her wrists. My younger sister Eerie had nightmares from time to time since then. So my father Taiju decided to take the two sisters back to the old house in the countryside to relax. The long vacant block was in a mess and had no electricity. So the three women slept in a tent to make do for the night. In the middle of the night, my eldest daughter Ailing was urinated on. She woke up and went to the toilet. As soon as she came out, she heard her sister's voice coming from the next room. She looked through the doorway and suddenly heard a strange laugh behind her. She saw a dark shadow flash by. Ai Ling thought she was dazzled and didn't take it seriously. At this time, the door of the ancestral hall suddenly rang. Ai Ling wanted to go forward to find out what was going on. She pulled the door back and forth but found nothing. This time the door closed automatically. She was so scared that she held her breath and continued to go forward. It turned out to be her sister. She sleepwalked again. Fortunately, her father arrived in time and took her sister back. Ai Ling told her father that there might be something dirty in the house, but her father told her not to think too much and go to sleep quickly. Taiju saw that her daughter was sick again, so she invited a psychologist to help her daughter diagnose. Her father went out to buy daily necessities. In order to get closer to her, the doctor also gave Ai Ling a baby. In order to facilitate treatment, the doctor suggested that the two sisters live in his own home. Both sisters agreed. The room was very satisfactory. But strangely, Ai Ling, who still did not stop working, heard the sound of a child outside. She followed the sound and thought it was her sister who was making trouble. But she saw her sister lying heavily on the bed. Was it her hallucination? At this time, there was another sound from behind. Ai Ling opened the window and looked inside. Suddenly, a child came out. She wanted to go in to check but found the door was locked. Ai Ling returned and took out her selfie stick and put it into the crack of the door to take pictures but saw nothing. Suddenly, her sister's phone fell to the ground in shock. At this time, a scream came from the younger sister's room. Ai Ling rushed over and found that her younger sister had started to have a nightmare again. She tried to wake her younger sister but was stopped by the doctor who rushed over. She said that she must wait until she wakes up by herself. Otherwise she might become an idiot. At this time, the younger sister couldn't wake up, but her consciousness was very clear. She could clearly see other Ai Ling suddenly woke up. Everyone was very distressed to see her frightened look. Ai Ling was also awakened by a dream at night. She washed her face and saw a person flash into her sister's room when she came back. She followed the shadow and found that there was a ghost on her sister. Ai Ling hurried forward and turned on the light, but the ghost disappeared. She told her father about the strange thing that happened last night. She said that she saw a multi-legged monster sitting on her sister's body. Her father, but my dear, asked Ai Ling not to tell my sister so as not to scare her after what she went through last night. Ai Ling had no choice but to sleep with her sister, but her sister's sleep paralysis still did not ease. At this time she was very conscious, but her body was out of control. She was helpless as she saw the dirty things running around. Suddenly, a big white hand that had not been washed for hundreds of years reached out to her. The girl woke up with extreme fear. Her father and sister who were standing by her side hurried forward to comfort her. Seeing her overly frightened daughter, Taiju was also helpless. Soon, the father invited the doctor over. The younger sister told the story. The elder sister was watching and felt very sad. The father saw the bruises on the younger sister's body and felt very sad. The elder sister thought that the father and the doctor had a story. She was angry and took the younger sister out. Seeing that the two had not come out for a long time, Ai Ling took the younger sister to climb the wall to eavesdrop, but saw the emotional father being hugged by the doctor. The two sisters were very angry. Suddenly, a strange man appeared at the railing, which scared Ai Ling to focus. The sister fell down from the tree and fell into a bottomless black hole. Taiju rushed over and scolded Ellie. In order to save Ellie, Taiju called the rescue team. Because the pit was too deep, the rescue team searched for 5 hours but made no progress. Ellie, who blamed herself, held the baby and prayed that her sister could return safely. Suddenly, she looked in the baby's eyes. I saw a clue in the pit. On the other side, my sister woke up from the deep pit. She groped her way forward in the dark cave. Suddenly, a big hand grabbed her tightly and refused to let go. After Ellie struggled in vain, she bit it and let go. Ellie quickly ran to the depths of the dark cave. She climbed up the wooden ladder and broke into an experimental base. There were all kinds of people with strange behaviors imprisoned inside. Some of them were holding pens and writing ghost symbols on the glass. Some were holding hoes and plowing the land, lying on the glass with an inexplicable silly smile. There was no normal person around. Ellie didn't dare to stay and left immediately. Soon she broke into a studio. It was the director of the studio. The closed-circuit TV was showing various videos of ghosts paralyzing the bed. What was even more terrifying was that her and her sister's bedroom was also monitored. There was also a strange person shaking his head on her bed. In the blink of an eye, she merged with a table lamp and suddenly disappeared again. Ellie was so scared that she turned around and wanted to escape, but was knocked unconscious. The doctor took Ellie out. Seeing that he couldn't hide the truth from Ellie, the doctor told her the truth. It turned out that this was an underground institution for treating mental illness. It specialized in studying some miscellaneous diseases such as sleep paralysis, which is the so-called ghost pressing on the bed. Ellie's family has a history of this genetic disease. Her mother was also tortured by this strange disease and committed suicide. I brought them here to get them treated. AI Ling, who knew the truth, was depressed. She came to the hammock in the hall alone to relax, but she fell asleep while swinging. Then something terrible happened. Suddenly, the hammock swung faster and faster. The ropes on both sides were tightened by a force, leaving only her head exposed. She could only scream loudly and struggled to no avail. Suddenly, a dark shadow crawled over from behind her. Fortunately, my sister arrived in time. The two sisters begged their father to take them away from this terrible place. At this time, their father was abnormally furious and scolded them. Seeing AI Ling resisting her, she suddenly lost control of her emotions and strangled AI Ling's neck until AI Ling begged her to let go. When Taiju came to her senses, she didn't know why she was like this. She blocked the staircase with wooden boards as if she was possessed by the devil and prevented the two from going upstairs. The sister was worried, so her father broke the wooden board when she came upstairs, but she saw her father curled up in front of her mother, saying in a confused manner that she would stay here with her mother and that her mother needed her. AI Ling told her that her mother was dead. Her father, who was unwilling to accept the reality, became excited. Suddenly, an iron pillar was hung on the beam of the house. AI Ling saw this and cut the rope. Her father, who fell to the ground. Suddenly then she ran out. AI Ling, who chased after them, found that her father and sister were missing, so she went to seek help from a doctor. The doctor found Taiju and tried to hypnotize her. Unexpectedly, she was knocked to the ground by Taiju's punch. Before she could react, she was dragged into the darkness by a pair of hands. Taiju was still immersed in fantasy. She saw her dead wife. His wife asked her to take her daughter with her. In reality, her father stood on the balcony holding AI Ling. AI Ling called her in time, but she was the wife next to her persuaded her to jump. At this time, the monster in the darkness emerged. Taiju, who suddenly woke up, handed his daughter to AI Ling. The next second, the monster rushed towards his father. The father was so scared that he fell down. Fortunately, Taiju was not dead. They moved back to the city. The father, who was on crutches, made a hearty breakfast for his daughters. He also came out of the pain of losing his beloved wife and returned to normal life. But the seemingly kind psychiatrist was not so lucky. A group of people imprisoned by him, the patients in the basement laboratory, surrounded him and tortured him. He will spend the rest of his life in this cold basement. Thank you for your likes and attention. See you next time.